I only feel inadequate because this is the smallest handful of parts that I've brought yet.
I'm just shocked you have more.
No, there's just like, I mean, there's not much left to bring.
Nice. What do we got today?
Well, I use these in my oil cooler delete packages. I get them from LSX Concepts.
Yeah, that just goes on the water pump, right? To get rid of this little barb.
Yeah, because there's a hard line that goes all the way down. That could not
be easier.
I know. I know.
Nice. Okay.
It took me a while to find it. Now that I did.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and then you asked for a bunch of these.
Yeah, because we have no idea. We've got 8 different cams, and every single one's going to want a different preload on the high pressure fuel pump. We'll have to get that spec from XDI with what preload they want so we can hit the window. And
XDI sent me like a huge box of those for some reason. Thank you, XDI.
Nice.
I stole this from you yesterday.
Okay, yeah, sweet.
Oh, this is for your buddy? I got the red ones.
Nice.
They're also a sponsor, but this is like off-camera stuff. And then BTR
the rockers
in the nick of time.
Amazing. Fantastic. We'll get those things open soon.
With their like TK2, the high RPM Trunnion kit.
Cool.
They have 2 versions of their Trunnion kit.
Okay.
And then a special gift. Because
Scapping spark plugs? Who does that, man?
Somebody told me you didn't have one.
No, I don't. Not this fancy anyway.
Check it out.
Man.
I haven't really. I've been sending them out to
it's got the logo too?
Fuck yeah.
Dude. Okay, this thing's pretty sweet.
And we talked about these on our podcast.
Yeah.
With
how it's almost as good as smashing it on the table.
With brisk. Well, so we talked about a couple things that there's another tool similar to this that has, I guess, like a raised part.
Yeah.
And I guess it creates a hot spot. This one's completely flat.
Nice.
I've been using one similar to this for years.
Yeah.
And then I finally figured I'd have one that had my name on it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
oh, that's so cool.
I hand them out as freebies.
Nice.
So.
Well, this thing's gonna get some usage.
$25 for you.
Okay. These rockers look sweet. Saves us a lot of time having to do the trunnions ourselves. It's nice that they come just assembled and ready to run.
I think they're the only ones that do that.
Okay.
I wish they had a roller tip.
Yeah, not everybody can, but that does add a lot of mass over this, the end of it. So it's nice that these are lightweight like stock.
It's definitely a time saver.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a couple of these myself, and they just take time.
It's cool. It comes with the hardware, but I'm happy we have the ARP version of the studs because on the LT castings, especially because the pedestal's cast into the head, it's not replaceable. So if this rocker, you're putting a lot of spring pressure and you're asking a lot out of this one little fastener to prevent it from twisting or doing anything weird. So when we go to a stud, we get a lot more clamping pressure and we can actually put more torque on these. And it actually does a much better job at keeping this thing planted because there's no way to tie these together. Like on a LS or one of the other motors, you can get them in pairs where you'll tie them together so they can't move. On the LT, you can't because they're canted valves, so they're like this, if you can imagine. Not this dramatic, but so you can't connect them to each other. So
is this more of an LT4, not an LT1 thing, or you do these on LT1s too?
Anything LT.
Oh, okay.
Anything LT with the factory style rocker. Obviously, like the shaft mount rocker is totally different, but anything remotely like this, like on our solid roller stuff, we have to run these. Like Frank's engine, he literally was with the weaker fastener. The rocker arm was moving on the pedestal and actually tore up his heads. So we had to repair those and then move to the stud, and the studs helped a lot.
Not to mention every cam swap.
Yeah.
We've got to pull these, right?
Right. So yeah, this way we're protecting the threads in the head, and we're only having to pull the threads off the stud, pull the rocker, and then good to go.
Yeah.
So that'll make it a lot easier.
So a little faster too.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Speaking of engine.
Yeah, we're coming along. We got the heads on last night and some stuff mocked up, and now we're ready to hopefully get it most of the way done today. I don't think we're actually going to finish it. I think we're going to leave a couple things like the high pressure fuel pump because we've got a tool coming to show how to set the preload that we want to showcase, so there's no sense doing that twice. But I think we can mostly do the long blocks. We'll see how far we get. I'm being a little optimistic.
What time did you guys leave last night?
About 3 a.m.
What you guys missed is that we basically put everything on the engine last night. There was, for the WHIPPLE in particular, to calculate the belt length, I couldn't find any calculators. Too High PSI, I plugged to them. They have a great calculator for the Maggie 2650 and the 1.7 liter, particularly for their belt wrap kit. It adds so much extra belt length and the geometry's tricky. They have a really cool calculator that helped us get all the belts for when we're running the stock blower and the export with their belt wrap kit. But when it came to the WHIPPLE, we didn't know and we didn't want to guess. we don't have a lot of time to mess with finding belts when we're up at Westech. So we had to put everything on last night just to take it all back off. So that's why you guys look a little tired.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting this thing buttoned up today, getting kind of all the timing stuff done, and just kind of closing it up. I think it's gonna be great. Until
Monday at noon when we got to take it apart again.
Yeah, and then like 8 more times after that. Yeah. Other than that, it's gonna be great to have it buttoned up.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
How crappy is it gonna be doing a cam swap on an engine dyno at Westech?
I'm not looking forward to it. The only way to make it worse is if it was in a car. But other than that, it's really gonna be a pain. These LTs don't make it easy. The first one's gonna be the worst because we have that big VVT cam sprocket. So I think we're gonna have to pull the pan and everything off to get to that. After that, with the Katech setup that uses the VVT delete, we have a little more room to work. And I think we can get the, you know, just the cam out while keeping the oil pan in place. It's not fun, but we should be able to do that. So we're throwing in our cam retainer plate. These bolts are famously always over torqued. People always put these things to like 30 foot-pounds when they really only need, I think it's 12 or 16. Don't quote me on it, but look up the torque spec for your engine. It's a lot less than you think it might be.
So is 30 foot-pounds 3 or 4 Agadas?
I wouldn't know, but yeah, it's at least one too many, I would say. Getting the cam plate all torqued up, we're going to 12 foot-pounds on this thing, which is actually about what the spec is actually 11. Nicole helpfully let me know, but who the heck torques to uneven numbers? So we're gonna go to 12, and these things are gonna be coming off soon anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. I've seen one of these parts fail and tear out a bunch of engines. This is the OEM piece, and it's a very thin steel spring that is your timing chain tensioner. I've seen these crack and fail on countless Gen 4 LS engines, and LT engines are no different. And when they do, they generally jam the timing chain, cause it to break, or just tear up all kinds of stuff. So Katech came up with a really good, elegant solution that's made of pure Viton. It replaces just this piece of the OEM tensioner, so it's a nice solution. There's a lot of different ones on the market, but we're really happy to use this one. I like that it maintains most of the tensioning ability as opposed to just moving to a standalone dampener.
Speaking of Katech, C5R chain.
Sweet. Should work great.
It feels sacrilegious to put a stock phaser on this motor.
It's a little weird, especially without a lockout or anything, but that's what we need for the baseline. Food is fuel, you know. We got the good stuff.
We were just at Costco. Have you seen the frozen grapes that have like a candy on the outside of it?
No.
Oh, like the Korean?
It's like this, but they're frozen. It's a frozen grape with like a candy shell. We're buying some for the house next week.
That sounds like a plan. I'm really excited about the snacks.
And a bunch of watermelons.
And the snacks. That's why I'm excited. That's why I'm doing this.
And now we have the unobtainium, the Katech Wets Up Oil Pump. As everybody knows, these guys are hard to find. And that's because, well, unfortunately, because they're always in demand. And I guess that's where the bad news is. GM kind of shit the bed when they designed their oil pump, or whoever designed the oil pump. The variable vane gears inside the pump, OEM, are a powdered metal, and they just do not hold up to the torque of the LT4. So we did a cool podcast with Katech a little while ago. Katech's a major sponsor of this event, obviously. So thank you, Katech, for all the parts. Katech's been around forever. You know, obviously it's a race-focused brand, but them kind of stepping into the consumer market ended up being a lifesaver for the LT4 in general. If you have an LT4 powered vehicle, especially a Z01, everybody's talking about the oil pump. If you ever try to buy or sell 17, 18, or 19 Z01, everybody's going to ask you if the oil pump's been replaced yet. Does it have a Katech oil pump? Because they did such a good job kind of stitching this thing up. It is still a factory, you know, made in Canada oil pump. It's a GM part, but they basically disassemble the entire thing, and then they recreate and remake the vane gears out of billet, blueprint, put the whole thing back together, and they just work so much better, and they're so much more reliable. And anyway, so we're happy to have this on the engine. We would not have used anything else. So if you need one, you know who to call.
Set.
So I'm not being super helpful, but remember, Evan is the bottleneck here, so if there's anything I can do to stay ahead of him, I try.
So I just got our pushrod lengths checked with this Summit Racing spring checker. They sent this thing over, and man, it's trick. It's got a little lock screw where you compress it, so you'll put it in the head like this with your rocker arm, and then you just tighten this little set screw and it stays in place. Then you loosen it once the rocker's on, it springs up, and then you lock it back down to whatever length that was at, and then you can measure this and it tells you exactly what preload or push rod you're gonna need without preload. So you'll add in your preload, and with this being a basically stock engine, the 7850 that they sent us, which is a 5/16 105 wall push rod, is gonna work just perfect for this. So we're gonna get these things thrown in and keep putting it up.
But if it's if we're doing baseline OEM, why aren't we just using stock push rods?
Because these are much bigger springs, we're asking a lot out of these things, and when you start to really lean, especially on like stock ones, if you've ever seen somebody do pole vaulting, that's what your push rods look like. That thing will bend and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that'll translate into lost valve motion and nothing good. So it's always important to go beefy on the push rods because weight on that side of the rocker arm doesn't matter nearly as much.
Bow, bow.
You know what, Gabe? This is pretty handy. I think you should just come by all the time and just hand me parts like this.
It is a little faster, you know? I know
think of the throughput.
I know how to just be an extra set of hands. Yeah. It's not beyond me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian Tooley, for saving us, what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Of doing trunnions.
Somewhere in that range.
And he's been on back order for, I think, a couple of weeks.
Wow.
I poked him, and I'm like, hey, guys, any chance we could get him this week? That would be really cool.
Yeah. Worked out perfect on timing.
Otherwise, we would have been doing our own trunnions.
So Gabe got all these started for us. We're getting them torqued down now. We're going in sequence and making sure we're not pulling a bunch of torque on the threads by compressing the springs. But with these ARP studs, it's a lot better than threading into aluminum. So this is kind of an ideal situation. According to ARP's instructions, we're getting these things torqued down to 25 foot-pounds.
Special thanks to Katech for sending us, actually we have both of their covers, the DOD and the VVT Delete. We aren't necessarily trying to dress the motor up at this point, but I want to prevent myself from dropping something into the motor. So it's time to put this guy on. Couple things I really like about this piece is that the O-rings come included. So I just think this is a really elegant way of getting rid of DOD. And of course we can't use just any hardware.
No, it's got to be Gabe's special 12 points.
It's got to be the ARP stainless steel.
Are you the same way as me, where every washer has an up and a down?
It does,
It does. Yeah. Even though it doesn't necessarily matter, the way it's stamped,
it matters.
You can tell. See how that's kind of rounded? Mm-hmm. This side's more flat. That's always the down, to me anyway.
And ARP was nice enough to send us literally every single bolt for this entire motor that counts. So thank you, ARP. All right, Kai, enough of those boring bolts. Check this out. I am very, very excited to start opening these white boxes from Too High PSI. Check out their anodized billet goodness. I could talk for an hour about these valve covers, and I think I probably already have when we were getting ready for Camaro Fest, but Too High PSI has created some of the most beautiful valve covers now, and I say that carefully because I really, really like the Katech cast aluminum valve covers with coil relocation kit that I have on my car, but these are just very, very special. Ideally, these are designed because Too High PSI, you really need valve covers that relocate the coil packs and allow for the space that you need to run their port injection system. We're using these more for dress up, and because Too High PSI was a major sponsor, we wanted everything to be black and blue. So I think we're gonna put these on just to keep crap out of the motor. God, these are so nice. I know it looks a little early to be dressing it up, but I'm always worried about dropping shit in the motor. And I think I just want to start to see this thing in its final color. These have been boxed for far too long. Just thought I'd mix it up a little bit and use our 12-point black hardware for the perimeter, because these are 2-piece valve covers. Kind of just makes the blue pop a little bit more. Guess these don't have to go on right now, but it just feels good to be putting something productive on the motor right now. Special thanks to Granatelli for giving us their extra hot malevolent coil packs. Had really good luck with these. I know a lot of guys kind of frown upon the aftermarket coil packs. We didn't have an extra set laying around, and I really like these ones. So I know for vanity purposes, a lot of guys want to try to match, because you can get these coil packs in a bunch of different colors. So they'll try to match them to their valve covers or whatever other accent color, you know, red, blue, yellow. Just so you know, you can remove the stickers. We're not going to for the test. Obviously, they're a sponsor, so we want to rock their name loud and proud. But for those of you who don't want the sticker and just want a black, red, blue coil pack, these easily peel off. I guess what's cool too is whoever buys the motor, if they wanted to be able to run straight pump E85, or they just wanted to make a bunch more power down the road, they'll already have the valve covers to run the Too High PSI port injection plates. So that'd be kind of cool. It'd be a pretty easy upgrade for them. They'll have you know, some pretty expensive valve covers, which are kind of a prerequisite to using that kit anyway. I guess, which is a reminder, this engine will be for sale when the test is over. And I guess if you wanted information on the motor, there's a spot on my website, Griffin-Motorsports.com. At the top header, we have a whole page dedicated to the shootout, and we have a build list that we've kind of been developing for the engine itself, all of the internals, kind of what it's rated for. Obviously, when the test is over, we were going to be able to kind of refresh the motor and custom configure it to whatever camshaft you wanted to use. But, you know, it's a sleeved block, and it's got great internal components, so this thing is ready to make some horsepower. All right, I know it's vanity and not necessary, but we're getting so close to putting some color on this thing. I wanted to show off the Granatelli wires that we're going to be rocking on this set. I really like the Granatellis because they come with the heat shield, and you can get them in a bunch of different colors. There we go. Thank you again, Granatelli, for hooking us up with the ignition components that we need to make some big power. Hey guys, I think this is where we're gonna stop for today as far as like narrating the build. We've gotten to a pretty good stopping point. I've got to jump on a conference call, so I think we're gonna cue the footage of Evan kind of putting the rest of the OEM components on. So based on what Nicole just said, I'm just gonna say thank you to all of the sponsors, but I do want to name a couple because we didn't film them really being installed. So Brisk Spark Plugs gave us a bunch of their silver racing spark plugs. I run them in my car. I absolutely love them. We didn't put any film putting them in, but we absolutely will throughout the duration of the test because we're going to be swapping them and checking them often. Everybody else, cue the logos for all of the generous sponsors and the sponsors yet to come. So there's still some boxes of goodies that you guys haven't even seen yet. You'll have to stay tuned and cue the next vlog to see the rest of those. Stop the music, stop the music. We had to take a quick break. Evan, not Aaron, just got done installing the
ATI Super Dampener Dual Keyway Hardened Hub with a 6-bolt custom face for the biggest pulley I've ever seen in my life. This thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna start calling it the Compensator.
I know they make it a little bit bigger than this, but I just thought it was a cool comparison to stop. Because we needed to run the ATI Super Damper for the baseline, and I don't know of anybody who makes an 8-inch, we're just going to go 10% over for the baseline pulley. But check this thing out. How neat of a comparison is that? 10% overdrive and 25% overdrive.
Yeah, and then show the side with the extra ribs too.
Yeah, from 8 to 12. That's crazy.
I know which one I want.
50% more ribs.
Boost.
Yes.
More boost. That's
Anyway,
what matters.
We're delirious. It's way past my bedtime, but I just wanted to... Anyway, cue the B-roll.